freedom. In Connecticut, it's a national organization. It's the Overpass organization, and our purpose is to stand up here. We reach a huge audience with our signs and bring up issues in American people. I think it's a great way to reach a lot of people.
So you do this with a lot of issues. Okay. Now, what is your biggest beef with what's happening on the border?
The border is wide open. It's not secure at all. The Border Patrol has been taken off duty to attend to the children who are coming in. And while the border is wide open, terrorists are streaming across. We know Iran has programs where Iran sends terrorists to South America where they're trained to speak the language, learn the customs, and blend in. So we have Iranian terrorists coming across. There are even reports that ISIS is coming across. We're very concerned since ISIS just got access to WMDs in Iraq, and who knows how long it will be before we have a wide open border. Some of the nukes or chemical weapons are coming across. So we have terrorist armies coming across. There are terrorist training camps in 35 states around America. And I've heard reports in South Texas alone there are 30 terrorist training camps. That's one. We're also worried about gang members. Some of these children coming across are teenage gang members who are absolute murderers. And I've heard reports from people on the border that there's actually gang violence breaking out between the various groups fighting each other within these groups.
Tell us a little bit about what is it that most concerns you from a Connecticut standpoint. We are so far away from the border, yet we read this week that the feds proposed 2,000 of these children come here.
Nobody is safe because right here. The federal government is flying and busing these people all over the country, resettlement, and they will not let the states know in advance. I think it was the governor of Nebraska who was all up in arms because they would not even tell them the location of where one of these facilities is. These children have horrible diseases. They're not being screened. They're not being quarantined. TB, scabies, swine flu, dreadful stuff. They're not being quarantined. They're flying on commercial buses and commercial planes so they can infect the rest of us all over the country. Then they will be attending our public schools. Now, first of all, I don't want my child exposed to the diseases, and I'm a teacher too, so I can be exposed as well. Also, our four school districts are overwhelmed, they're bankrupt, and they're being asked to take on the additional burden of all these students. The federal government is flying and busing these people all over the country, but they will not pay for the expense. They are giving the mandate to the states that you have to take care of these people, but they're not helping at all with the care.
Now, the feds said that they would foot the entire bill for the kids that come to Connecticut. They said they pay for everything. But one state representative said that's fine if they pay for their food and their housing and stuff, but it's still putting a stress on our social services, schools, hospitals, and things like that.
I've heard governors in other states, I'm not an expert, I'm just a school teacher, but I've heard governors in other states bemoan to try the fact that the burden is being placed on the state. So I don't know how they're being removed individually, but it is a concern. And as for the very least, their schools cannot take on the additional burden. Plus, these students have traumas, improperly imposed tax stress. They don't speak English. What resources is that going to take away from our children?
What is your response to what the governor had to say, basically in a letter through his chief of staff to a representative from New Haven, basically saying, look, we're not taking any of these groups of kids because we don't have facilities that are sufficient enough, not just Southbury, but elsewhere in the state. We don't have 90,000 square foot open space facilities. Well, they may have some individuals, but not mass groups. The state said they will work with DCF and the federal government to place individual unaccompanied immigrant children that have families here, but they're not going to take in mass groups.
I'm skeptical. Politicians can twist things so if no offense
give you my card.